Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Appreciate everybody who been rocking with me, man, and rocking with me. We rolling. We still up in there, man. 33 years of prison stories. We trying to get it done. We on the road to 100K. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Boom. Let's go, man. This video today came from a comment. I'm trying to remember the name of the person who said something about it, but you know who you are. And you just brought it up, and I just wanted to speak on it briefly because we are pulling up on the date 9/11, and a lot of people wonder, you know, what goes on inside prison when it's something that major goes on outside of prison. How does it affect us? Does it affect us? What's the what's the situation inside? And I can remember a lot of events, man. A lot of events that took place on the outside that was major, that had major or great impact on the inside. You know, 9/11 being one. You know, OJ trial. You know, the Trayvon Martin trial. What else? Something else is at the top of my head. 9/11. Oh, Obama. Obama getting elected. So all of those things I can remember, you know, more or less in my head, and if I think about it more, it'll come to me even more, you know, details or whatnot. But the 9/11, I believe, I think that like happened in like 2000, 2001 or something like that. I think I was 2001. I think I was just getting on Sussex 2, right? And I can remember when it happened. I can remember a lot of people, because you got a lot of dudes in prison. They on that news, man. They really on that news. You know, CNN and watch news all day. I was never one of them dudes, you know, for whatever reason. I didn't really want to watch it because of the simple fact that it was only going to make me more depressed to see what was going on out in the street, and I couldn't participate. I couldn't be out there. I couldn't, you know, it just gives you this type of, you know, melancholy feeling, man, when you see all the things that's going on out there, good, bad, or indifferent. It just brings back to reality where you are. You know what I'm saying? So reading the newspaper or watching news was never really one of my things in prison because, you know, like I said, it always brought me sadness. So I try to stay away from it. But I can remember, man, a lot of dudes, or if I can remember correctly, they was running around the TV and they started hollering, "Oh man, they you know, they crashed into the World Trade Center, or that, man, it's crazy, man. Oh, we going to war, man. It's the world coming to an end." It's, you know, because in there they gonna over dramatize, you know, the situation. But I guess in that situation you don't know what's gonna happen, so you can't really say it's over dramatizing. But I do remember we had to go on lock. I do remember that. We had to go on lock because when something major like that happened, they don't know really what the response is going to be with the masses. You know, whether dudes are going to take that opportunity to lash out, whether dudes are going to take that opportunity to, you know, create chaos, because it happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens in prison. And I remember we went on lock, and then when we on lock, I can remember watching more of it and seeing it on TV, seeing the, you know, the pictures they were showing, seeing the you know, the images and the little video and stuff. And I can remember thinking in my head, man, this is insane. You know what I'm saying? This is insane. I hadn't seen anything like that before. So to see it, and I ran it over possibilities and things in my head, like what was going on, like, are we going to war, or, what I'm saying, is there more to come, or are they gonna bomb these, different places or something? So when you're in prison, you can only, like I say, you got a window seat. You can only watch, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to ask yourself, well, oh, do I got people in New York? Do I got people close to there? Do I got any family members that work in there? All of these things run through your head, because in prison you helpless. You are literally helpless. There's nothing you can do about anything that transpires outside of them walls. Not a thing. So people, it was a lot of people, there's a lot of people in Virginia that's locked up from New York. So you had all of those people, they was trying to get to the phone, they want to call their people, they want to check on their people. You have other people that's, verbally lashing out, saying crazy stuff, saying, it's the Muslims, it's this, that, and the third. So now you creating tension between the Muslims and regular people, So it was a crazy scene, man. It was wild in prison for a minute. For a minute, that created a whole lot of chaos and a whole lot of tension. And even when, like, I can remember when we even come out, dudes is anxious to get to that phone, because either they had people that was from New York, or they was actually from New York and they wanted to reach out to their people. So it's kind of like a common courtesy to back up away from the phone and let these people that was from there use the phone. But then you got to remember, we in prison, and everybody wanted to put their agenda before your agenda. Your problem is no greater than my problem. Your problem may be that you from New York and you may actually have someone that might have been injured in the situation. My problem may be that, my girl ain't talking to me and I need to reach her. So it's like dude's problems is not going to supersede somebody else's problems. Even though when we look at the overall picture, we know what's greater. But it don't work like that in prison. It's every man for themselves. So I can remember fights breaking out over the phone, dudes getting locked up, and then you put yourself in an even worse situation because you ain't going to be able to use the phone. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the meantime. And then when you do, you talking about once a month, for 15 minutes. So, but yeah, fights broke out over the phone, arguments broke out, to the best of my knowledge and the best of where I was at around what I can remember, all of the Muslim dudes was like on point. Like if any drama coming to them, they ready for it, because, people was trying to, equate their problem to them. When in actuality, the problem was with whoever did it. I don't feel like a single solitary person or even a little small group of people will represent everybody under that banner. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion, but dudes in there felt different. Dudes in there may not have felt different, but just the place that we in is just creates so much hatred in you, so much bitterness, so much, oppression, that they look for reasons to latch out. They look for excuses to let that anger out of them. And for some, that could have been it, or they may have been harboring feelings about certain dudes all the time, but then this just gives them a reason to lash out. So it was a lot of tension going on in prison, man. A lot of tension around that 9/11 situation, man. It was a whole lot of tension. And I can remember as the weeks unfolded, just to see all of those people out there that was hurt, all of those people just cleaning up, that type of stuff. I stayed glued in on the TV doing all of that type of stuff, as I did with the other events that I mentioned to you about. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the OJ trial was the first actual whole like trial thing that I watched on TV. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I can remember watching that one, and I can remember watching the following the situation, just like I did the Trayvon Martin joint. And yeah, it was crazy, man, just to see that type of rubble, that type of destruction, that type of pain and hurt on people's faces, to see them crying and hurt. And it just was, it was a horrible sight to see, man. It was a horrible sight to see for me personally, because I knew each and every one of them people that was in incident had family, man, and just to see their family out there crying and wondering people was missing, and I think it took them a long time to like confirm all the people that was missing. So you had people that was wondering and worrying about their people, and I know that anxiety, because when you locked up, you have not to say it's equal, but you have that type of anxiety. That was another reason why I didn't watch the news, because if you heard something on the news about this is going on around here or this is happening in this area and your people are from that area, you silently be praying that it never reaches their doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in a helpless position. You in a helpless position. There's nothing you can do. You when you put yourself in prison, you can't protect your loved ones. You can't console your loved ones. You can't celebrate with your loved ones. None of that. All of that is gone. So to watch them people, mourning and crying and wondering, and hoping and praying, standing out there during the 9/11 situation, I could somewhat understand what they was going through, because that's how I felt for many, many years, man. Worrying about, my sisters, worrying about my brothers, worrying about my kids, worrying about my mother. That worryation to come on you so heavy sometimes that it's like draining, and there's no solution to it. There's nothing you can do. And that puts you in a helpless position, and that helpless position, man, it gets heavy sometimes, man. It gets real heavy. So, I remember watching all of that stuff, though, man. And like I said, I seen a couple of altercations break out over the phone, and I knew that it was only because of a deeper problem. I mean, of course, people was worried about if their family out there was safe, especially if they was from in that area. I know people was worried about if their family was safe, but I also knew that a lot of times situations will make them overreact. Hurting somebody in here with you, going through the same thing you going through, is not going to help, your people on the outside. If they got hurt, if they lost their life or whatever, it's not going to help the situation, because now you done got yourself in even more situation, and you done created the people that's on the street that's already mourning your other people to be worried about what's going on with you as well. So, but people don't think that far ahead. They only think as far as they can see in front of them. And a lot of times emotions, spill over, man, when things like that happen, and you acknowledge the position that you done put yourself in. So it makes you even more mad. It makes you even, more angry. And that usually somebody around you gets the blunt of that, who may not even deserve it. Man. And I've seen that happen over and over again in penitentiary. So I always be cautious myself when I see or an event like that happen, or something major that makes major news, because I know people are going to have their own opinions on the inside. They're going to have their own emotions. They're going to have their own, demons to deal with. And you never know if you're going to be the blunt of that. You never know. Somebody may not like you all the time because of this. And now that happened, so they bring it to you because they can't take it to wherever else they want to take it to. So, 9/11 was major in there, though. And then you had people that won't come into work, because they had family in New York. You had people that won't come into work because they was scared that they was gonna be bombed, And then you actually had people, and this is profound to me, because I want y'all to really understand this, because this is really like the overall experience of prison. You had actually had people that would verbalize out loud that they wish that the planes would have crashed into the prison. Yeah, they actually wished and prayed that the planes crashed into the prison. They also would say, like when they had hurricanes and stuff, dudes used to pray that the hurricane hit the prison. And for different reasons. One, some people wanted it to knock the gates down so they could possibly try to get out. And others wanted it just to crash into the prisons just because they just tired of living like this. They tired of living like this, but they don't have the heart or the courage to take their own life, but they miserable. They are miserable living this type of life. You know what I'm saying? And that right there should tell anyone out here in the free world how horrible prison really is. When you pray for a tragedy to fall upon, your dwelling, that's a horrible life, And I don't know what's going on out here in the free world that will make someone choose that type of life, where someone will have to, pray and wish for that to end the misery that they're going through. So when you're going through things that's bad out here in the free world, man, just always remember, you in the free world. You are actually in the free world, and your circumstances can most definitely change. But yeah, I knew people like that every time when they lock us down. They say it's a hurricane watch or tornado watch or whatever it was, and dudes be like, man, please hit this. I ain't never hit everything. Turn this down, turn that down. And you wake up the next morning on the news and some a hurricane, whatever, then hit this city and tore all of this and made all this mass destruction. And you heard people hollering all the time, man, them Jones hit everything but a prison. They hit everything but a prison. And dudes be like, man, you want the Jones to hit the prison, man? What you gonna do? Where you gonna hide? Where you gonna go? I don't even care. I don't even care, man. And yeah, that's the yeah, that's crazy, but that's true. And I've heard that a lot, in doing time. Yes, in doing time, I've heard it a lot, because like I say, it's a hate factor in there, man, and it's misery, is misery driven, because everybody is miserable in there, and if they tell you they happy in there, um, you can put them on the biggest liar list of all times, of all times, because it ain't nothing to be happy about in there. Real talk, and yeah, 9/11 was major, man, in there. It changed a lot of things. And a lot of people quit. A lot of officers quit, and because I guess it put their life in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't where I want to be. This ain't, what I want to do. And they change careers, or either just leave. And whenever things like that happen too, just like everything else in prison, we get the blunt of that. Because if they ain't got enough officers to work, that means you're not coming out your cell. Period. You know what I'm saying? And institutional needs is the excuse they're gonna give you. They're gonna say institutional needs. So if you can't come out your cell, no matter what's going on out there in the free world, you can't use the phone, you can't reach out, you can't, do nothing but what they tell you to do. And that's that. And then you had a lot of people with all these conspiracy theories. They be running around every time it's a major tragedy or something like that, and they were saying, and one of these theories I found out to be true to the best of my knowledge, man. They got some type of law on the book that says that if we go into World War, or some type of stipulation as to if we go into World War, as if America is invaded, if an enemy invades American soil and we are in a world war, they can actually kill all the prisoners. Everybody who's locked up in prison, everybody who's been sentenced for a crime committed, a felony or something, is, to my understanding, to be considered an enemy of the state. And you can't be trusted. So if they're in, uh, a major world war on the American soil, who is expected to come to work? So if no one is expected to come to work to tend to the prisoners, then they supposedly had some type of extermination plan for everyone who was locked up, and it would be legal, So that's something to think about as well. That shows you the value of your life when you are a number, an inmate, a convict, a felon, So yeah, and you had dudes running around, and they was running around with that, and they was sprouting that, oh man, they getting ready to kill us, or when they lock us down, they gonna come do this, or I'm telling you, man, we getting ready to go to war, the world coming to an end, and then you might get somebody might just walk up to them and punch them in the mouth because they don't even want to hear that. If it's true or not, you know what I'm saying? They might just walk up to them and punch them in the mouth, and I've seen that happen. When dudes are sprouting out a lot of things about this or that, or about something that's major that's happening out there in the world, and they trying to take it too far, they trying to antagonize people or get people word or something, somebody will shut them up. Somebody will shut them up. So like I say, A lot of things that happen out here in the free world, it affects the inside world, but you have to be able to micromanage that stuff, man. You have to be able to compartmentalize it, because if you don't, it'll drive you crazy as well. You know, you have to pay attention and focus to what's going on around you. And I know that sounds crazy that because you got people in the free world and you want to worry about them and you do worry about them. But if you spend too much time worrying about what's going on with them out there, you're going to forget what's going on with you in here. And you probably going to become a victim of something. Of something. Because if you focus out here, you're going to be missing something in here. And you have to pay attention to everything that's around you in here, you know, because it's crucial to your survival. You know, it's crucial to your survival, man. And then you, like I say, you got to deal with the officers as well. The ones who do come to work, they may have attitudes because of the ones who quit. And now they working overtime. They may have attitudes because they may have family members in New York. They may have been injured or that they're worried about. You're going to get the blunt of all of that. You're going to get the blunt of everybody's frustration that, you know, works in administration or that has a little authority over you, because you at the bottom of the barrel, you know, and you may be dealing with your own issues. So when someone comes at you and you dealing with your own issues and they bringing their issues to you, that's just a powder keg waiting to explode right there, you know. And I never understood fully, or it took me a while to understand why they lock us up when all of these type of things that happen out on the street that we have no control over. But then when you start to look at the situation deeper, they do it because of these reasons that I just explained. Because people, even though we're incarcerated, people are going to have emotions and they're going to have opinions about what's going on outside there. And those emotions and opinions can spill over and they can end up in a riot, or they can end up in somebody getting hurt. And most of all, they worried about it, you know, them being on the receiving end of that, you know, more so than worried about our life. Because as I just explained, our life is expendable, you know, expendable, you know, without question, you know. So yeah, 9/11 was crazy, man. But I believe that at that time too, I was just getting transferred, probably just coming from I probably was just coming from Augusta, being sent up there and wasn't supposed to be up there, coming to Sussex too. And so you had all of that going on with a brand new prison just opening, and then you had that going on as well, you know. So it was some crazy times, but I remember it being a very, very sad situation. And I do remember everybody that had New York attached to their name, they was anxious, they was, you know, worried. You could see it on their face, and they was always in line for the phone. Even dudes that didn't even holler, that you never really saw on the phone a lot, they was on that phone and they was trying to find out what was going on with their people. But like I say, when you in prison, man, you're literally helpless to what's going on out on the street. And there's nothing you can do besides use your voice. And with all that was going on, you was, you know, if you was actually had people that was involved, the chances of you getting in touch with them was probably slim as well. So that created a whole lot more frustration in a person, you know, and anxiety. But yeah, 9/11, man, was crucial. It really was, man. And just to see those type of images and to be locked up at that time, for me, you know what I'm saying, for years and years, it's like you're watching the world go by, or you're watching the world self-destruct, and you feel even worse because of where you at. You know what I'm saying? Where you're at, and all of this is happening, and look where you sitting at, you know, because of the choices that you made with your life, man. So yeah, it was a crazy situation, but I definitely remember it. And a lot of other major incidents that happened during my incarceration. And I just wanted to speak on it a little bit, and I wanted to also to send my prayers out to anybody who lost anybody in the 9/11 situation. Anybody who had people that was injured in the 9/11 situation. I send my prayers out to y'all, you know, during this during this time right here, because even this will air on 9/11 or close before. It's only a couple of days away. But I was filming there, and it was a comment that made me wanted to speak on it, because people was wondering how do these situations affect dudes that's locked up. And yeah, it does affect everything that happens in the world. If it's major, it affects us in some type of way, whether we want it to or not. Because like I say, the bigger it is, the administration is going to respond in a certain way anyway. And however they respond, whether it reaches you or touches you or not, it's going to trickle down to us. So everything affects us one way or another. And usually it's always on the bottom end. But my prayers out to everybody on 9/11. Peace to you and your family, and hopefully we never have a tragedy like that again in this lifetime, man. Because I think it was senseless, man, and it was just crazy to me. And before then I couldn't even imagine anything like that happening. But if you live long enough, you'll see a lot of things that you couldn't even imagine. And hopefully we'll never see that again. But I just wanted to speak on that, man. And TVP, salute. Appreciate you out there. Man, like I say, in every lesson there's a blessing, man. And the blessing is, just saying this and talking about this at the spare of the moment. Just keep that in mind, kings and queens out there who free in this free world, man. When you think things are so bad, or you think things get, so low that you can't get back up, man. Just imagine people in such an environment that they will pray for a hurricane, or they will pray for a catastrophe just to get out of the situation that they got themselves in. That's prison. That's prison for you. So please stay free, man. Please make good decisions. Please understand that you can always, make your situation better. But in order to do that, you have to be out here in the free world to do that. People incarcerated cannot do that. They cannot make their situation better until them doors open. They can only try to work on themselves and better themselves, and the situation will not change until them doors is open. Because no matter how much you improve yourself, your situation will remain the same, because your location is the same. And until you can come out of that, there will be no real relief. So stay free, be safe, be smart, make good decisions, man, and duck them hooks, man. Boom, 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 boom. Peace, man. God bless everybody from 9/11.